you, Kent. Got to be hard to take 4 extra days to nurse an injury when the San Jose Sharks are in town, but that's the case here tonight at Honda Center, the final foray before the Christmas holiday break for both of these teams in time for tonight's Honda Keys to the Game. We'll get those from the Anaheim bench. Our Julie Stewart-Binks with assistant coach Trent Yawney.
Thanks so much, Johnny. Trent, Sharks are ranked 3rd on the power play. How do you slow down their cycle?
Well, we got to win some face-offs and make them start from their end. I think that big unit of theirs, they get rolling around. They tire the penalty killers out an awful lot and have recently. So big challenge for us, but our guys are looking forward to it.
Thanks, Trent. Good luck.
You bet. Thanks.
Back to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Julie. The Sharks are rolling, and that guy's rolling as well. Antti Niemi has won his last 7 starts. And it goes back to a win against the Ducks in San Jose that started that run. Todd McClellan's team has lit up the scoreboard against the Ducks, outscoring them 10-5. In the 2 meetings this season, and winners of 7 of the last 9 overall.
And both of those victories for San Jose were what players call turnaround games. Prior to that, the Sharks had lost 4 consecutive games and seemed to be in all kinds of trouble, but the wins against the Ducks got them going again.
Well, there are some that would say the Ducks are looking for a turnaround game. They have dropped 2 of their last 3. That constitutes a skid for this team so far this season, as the Sharks are called for an offside 22 seconds in. The referees for tonight's game are Greg Kimmerly and Jean Hebert. Linesmen are Jay Shars and Mike Civic.
A good look at Logan Couture. He's done a fair share of damage. John, you mentioned it in the pregame show. It's the same cast of characters that are providing the offense for San Jose. Remember, San Jose started the regular season playing 16 of their first 21 games on the road. This game tonight finds them on the road for the first time since a 5-game win streak at home.
Yeah, we talk about that 10-game stretch. Only 2 of those games have been on the road. Raquel turned away. Big rebound to Silverberg. And a couple of point-blank saves for Niemi to start the hockey game.
Well, the save on Silverberg was a terrific right leg stop by Niemi.
Raquel has it again in the corner and cycles it back for Andrew Cogliano. Cogliano puts it on the backhand, looking for Silverberg below the goal line, but that's taken away. Stepping in front of him and denying the pass was James Shepard, who lifts it back to center. Sharks had too many men on the ice.
Yeah, they certainly did.
And they just got away with it. Pass went off the skate of a defender. There's still a San Jose player sitting atop the boards waiting to rejoin the play. He had already been on the ice. Play goes on. Devontae Smith-Pelly back in the Anaheim lineup after a healthy scratch on Friday in Ottawa. Throws it to center. Hertl gets a touch on it as it comes back behind Frederik Andersen.
We win in this game for Ryan Getzlaf as Pat Maroon joins him on the left side.
The Ducks captain, who had a stellar game despite the loss in Ottawa, now with 8 points in his last 4 games. And as Brian mentioned, 2 new wingers from that game in Ottawa. Finally, Maroon able to bring it out center, and he tries to go cross ice. It goes off the skate of Smith-Pelly. Getzlaf will bring it right back in. Smith-Pelly trying to get it to Maroon. It's broken up, and back the other way come the Sharks. Long wrist shot handled by Andersen, who gets his first touch on it. As getting it to the net that time was time again. Puck comes to center ice. And I believe, do we have a hand pass call?
Yeah. This was on face-off upcoming. Here's that save made by Niemi on Rickard Rakell. See how far out in front of that blue paint he is, but it's the rebound save that was impressive to me. One of the things we look for with goaltenders to make sure that they are on top of their game. Are they moving into the puck? And you could see Niemi drive off that left skate to make the right leg save on the rebound by Jakob Silverberg.
Impressive job by Rakell to protect the puck as the defender was coming from the backside. He got a pretty good shot away on the initial bid. Desjardins can't get his shot through at the other end. Andrew Desjardins had a goal in the Sharks win against St. Louis on Saturday. Just his 2nd of the season, and then he goes and delivers a big hit. That's what he's known for more. And now he'll dump it back into the Anaheim zone and turn for a change. Mentioned the Sharks have played only 2 of their last 10 away from San Jose. They're in the midst of 18 of 27 at home after that rough road stretch to begin the season. What goes around, comes around.
Yeah, you can see both teams right now, all kinds of pressure, forcing turnovers. Both clubs have turned pucks over in the neutral zone.
San Jose is 3rd in the league in giveaways entering tonight. Here's a chance for Marleau, and he hit the post. That puck just filtered through a couple different players, and Marleau was Johnny on the spot.
A good break for Frederik Andersen. Boy, Patty Marleau, he does not waste any time on the release of that shot.
Valesky storms into the near corner of the San Jose zone, tries to drop it back, Thornton intercepts, angles it off the boards, 2-on-1, maybe 3-on-1. Hurdle finds Pavelski. Shot, goal save, Andersen!
What a great stop by Freddie Andersen. Joe Pavelski dead to rights in the middle of the ice. Point blank shot for him. He's thinking top shelf. And Andersen, boy, just takes it away with a hand. Here was the break that Freddie Andersen got. Pat Maroon, quick release, traffic in front. I don't know if Andersen would have been able to see that shot. But a good break for Andersen, followed up by an outstanding save.
Freddie Andersen, second in the league in games played entering tonight, third in the league in wins. His counterpart at the other end, Antti Niemi, eighth in the league with 14 wins on the season. Quite the matchup here tonight at Honda Center. Vlasic throws it across. Thornton behind the net gets it. Protects it with that big 6'4" frame. Vlasic's shot is blocked by Sami Vatanen. And Maroon after it in the corner. Tried to draw the defender. He did. That was Braun. Chip past him. At the point covered by Hurdle. Smith-Pelly recovers. Cross ice. Maroon into the San Jose zone. Has it denied by Braun, but there's Smith-Pelly to get to it. Devante hurls it below the goal line. Maroon drags it with him. Pat Maroon was a +1 in Ottawa on Friday, and he got it to Lindholm, who shot ricochets across. I don't think it ever got to Niemi. And again, good puck recovery here for the Ducks as it's Smith-Pelly out of the left corner. Lindholm, all in one motion, shot it, but it was blocked by Tomas Hurdle.
Yeah, good puck movement by the Ducks, and they get the cycle play going below the goal line. They've had some success against San Jose generating scoring chances this season, and they've got pucks in deep.
Hampus Lindholm brought it into the zone. He, too, back in the Anaheim lineup after missing Friday's game in Ottawa. Cogliano give and go with Getzlaf behind the net. Tries to center for Silfverberg. I think Niemi got his stick in the way. The Sharks will clear it. And rule of deflection, so no icing. And Fowler picks it up in full flight. 300th career game tonight for Cam Fowler. He hands it off to Rickard Rakell. Drives wide and throws it across an empty slot. Cogliano keeps it alive, gets it back from Fowler and fires. Didn't make it to Niemi. Good net front presence from Jakob Silfverberg. Silfverberg takes it away and then has it roll off his stick as he tries to go in front.
Yeah, Silfverberg has been dangerous here in the early going. And the more frequently he gets into that blood and gut zone in front of Niemi, he'll continue to be dangerous. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he is quick. His hands seem to be able to make themselves available.
6 points in the last 10 games for Jakob Silfverberg. He takes a seat. The Ducks' fourth line comes out. Lots of energy from Tim Jackman. Jackman keeps it alive on the glass. It squirts through Rennie Bourque. Clayton Stoner keeps it in. Brent Burns leads the Sharks in ice time. Able to protect the puck as he was colliding in the corner. And San Jose clears the zone. Desjardins turned away as he got to the blue line by Sami Vatanen. Vatanen steps into Wingels in the neutral zone. And Thompson hinges it back. Desjardins intercepts the stretch pass from Stoner. Flips it in, but doesn't connect with Tommy Wingels. Vatanen angles it off the boards. Open is Jackman. He'll go cross ice and a lot of space for Stoner. Gets the line, fires a long one, sticked away by Antti Niemi. 7th season for the Finnish netminder, now with his second NHL team. Wingels in the corner, looking for a little help, throws it around, and it's cleared through the middle.
Jose, you know that they've played in this building a few times. When you see people gunning the puck around the glass in the defensive zone, trusting that that puck won't rim all the way around for icing, you know they're getting familiar with Honda Center.
Couture unable to get a tip on the give and go, and it's scaled up and out by Emerson Edom, brought right back in by the Sharks. 7 minutes gone, a scoreless first period at Honda Center. Glad to have you along, just a couple of days shy of the Christmas holiday, and the Ducks' first home game in a couple of weeks. In 12 days since their shadow saw Honda Center. Carlson tips it back. Hannon's shot from the point punched away through traffic by Andersen. In our first look at Melker Carlson, number 68 in white. A recent recall from Worcester. Got 4 points in just 5 games.
Yeah, a young player who's come in and done a nice job. And San Jose, they're saying that's one of the big differences in their team is that they're starting to get a little bit of production out of their third and fourth lines.
Raquel changing directions below the goal line. Now to Cogliano. This line has looked good early on. The cycle going once more. Silverberg goes behind the net. Cogliano drives the slot. And the behind-the-back pass from Raquel missed him. Hurdle rims it around and in. Raquel spun around, can't get to it. Braun holds it in. His backhander absorbed by Frederik Andersen. A lot of pace early on at Honda Center. It's ugly sweater night, and there's no score. Well, our Mercedes-Benz Star Watch tonight, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California, has a couple of top 10 goal scorers in the league.
Joe Pavelski, 15 goals. Matt Pileski, 15 goals. You look at the numbers from last season. Pavelski had a career year, 41 tallies for him. Maybe this is going to be Matt Pileski's career season. John, what an unbelievable start.
I think it already is.
Matt Pileski has had.
Pavelski, 8 of those goals have come on the power play this season. He leads the league. Had a big year. 15 power play goals a season ago as well. Wing goes below the goal line in the Anaheim zone, and he lost the puck, but Getzlaf gave it right back to him. Couture's bid is blocked away by Lovejoy, and Anaheim forced to ice it.
A little miscommunication between Ryan Getzlaf and Cam Fowler down low results in a turnover in a very dangerous spot on the ice. And this is a key block right here. Great job by Lovejoy that comes out and cuts down the shooting angle. You pay the price. He kept his shoulders square to Logan Couture, and Couture could not feed that shot through.
Brian, how good has Ben Lovejoy been since he came back? In the 5 games, he's got 4 assists, and he's a +2. You cannot underestimate what he means to Cam Fowler. There's just a comfort level there that is apparent to watch those two play. A blocked shot sends the Ducks again into the San Jose zone. Getzlaf takes the shot that snaps it with Smith-Pelly parked in front. To the corner, kicking away at it is Burns, and he can't jab it free. Smith-Pelly has it come to him. Hit there by Brendan Dillon, and a bouncing puck cleared out of harm's way by Logan Couture.
You can see San Jose doing a very nice job of collapsing right down almost to the top of the goal crease. Got 5 players in that vicinity.
Getzlaf's pass picked off by Desjardins, who clears back to center. Vatanen wires it around.
Meaning they will give you the point shot, but they're not going to give you anything down below the hash marks.
Jackman got a bump on Desjardins, and a bouncing puck that's held in. No, it was not, by Nate Thompson. And now it's blown dead. I think the clear went into the San Jose bench, and then pushing and shoving after the whistle. Big John Scott and Tim Jackman being kept apart. Stoner has a hold of time again.
Time again's a pretty tough customer, and he and Stoner, they're going to go.
McGinn has seen limited NHL time in his 3 years in the league. Stoner caught a little off guard as McGinn gets in close.
McGinn thought about taking the visor off. Stoner took it off for him.
Now he's delivering right hands. Clayton Stoner has McGinn with his head down. Now he goes to the left hand. McGinn's gained. He stays on his feet. Stoner goes to the uppercut. McGinn won't quit. They wrestle to the ice. That was big time.
Yeah, good scrap. Great energy in the building and what has been a fast-paced opening period tonight. 2 pretty game customers and a real good scrap at the midway point of the opening period here. Here's how it gets started. Not much of anything. Scott comes over. Gives Stoner a shot. People move in. Jackman grabs John Scott. And then away from the play, Stoner and McGinn exchange how-do-you-dos. That's got to hurt.
4th fight as a Duck for Clayton Stoner.
It hurt the hand.
Yeah, he checks the knuckles after the adrenaline wears off. That's when you find out whether or not you're hurt.
Don't you love it, guys? In the box, are eyeballing one another. And don't be surprised if that's just round 1. Faceoff
comes back into the San Jose zone. Never a loss of acrimony between these two teams when they play. Kessler wins the draw. Molesky feeds it down low. A couple of 5-minute majors. Both Stoner and again won't affect the manpower situation on the ice. Pavelski chases behind the San Jose goal. Boy, the first goal in this game is so key. The Sharks are 13-2-2 when they score first. The Ducks are 16-0-4. And here's Edom with speed at center. Sent in by Kessler. Knocked off his stick by Scott Hannon. Kessler trails the play, digs it free, got it back to the line. The open man is Vatanen. He leans into it, fired it wide on purpose, and Kessler tripped up in front, unable to get to the carom.
A little bit concerned about the potential block there, knowing he didn't have a lot of support. Smart play.
Molesky sends Edom in. He got it back to Kessler, who sweeps it wide. And it came off the end boards, able to get back to that far post in time was Niemi. Molesky chips it up the boards, and now Hannon verses it away, and bearing down on him was Tim Jackman. But Bruce Boudreau gets Jackman right back out on the ice after that altercation. Jackman's had a lot of jump in the early going, and of course he brings that physicality as well. Let's go Ducks, the chant here at a partisan Honda Center. No score between the Sharks and Ducks, and it's Jackman who rims it around and in. Matt Tennyson, Pleasanton, California native, reverses it around and sends Barclay Goudreau the other way. He got rocked by Thompson. And not only the physical play, but now the hitting seeming to be far more prevalent on every shift as Thompson gets it deep, getting it past Dillon.
And we always say this about the Ducks. When they get engaged physically, their overall game seems to pick up. And I think a big part of that is the opponent forced to play with their head up now. So they think they're going to get run through the boards. And they start turning pucks over.
Lindholm tries to find a seam. It deflects deep into the San Jose zone as Ricard Raquel pursues around the boards. Shoved ahead for Marleau by Couture, who gives it back to him, and his bid deflected out of play. Stay here, no score, but there's a lot more than that going on halfway through the first.
A scoreless game here at Honda Center. Fast-paced game so far. The Ducks have had a couple of chances against Antti Niemi, but Bruce Boudreau will note to his players that all of their shots have been low shots. And Boudreau was talking earlier today about when you look at the goals that Anaheim has scored on Niemi in the past couple of seasons, they're of one of two varieties. They're either high into the top corners or they're through screens in front of the net. And so far tonight, if you think about, for example, the save he made on Jakob Silfverberg, it was a low shot. So Niemi is what I call a heavy-headed goaltender. That head kind of hangs out in front of his toes, meaning that he's going to be a little bit quicker to defend the lower part of the net, but he will struggle balance-wise to protect the top of the net.
22nd career appearance against the Ducks for Niemi. He has 12 wins, including being in net for both of the meetings this season between these clubs, and he got the win in both of those. He's coming off an 18-save performance and an overtime win against the St. Louis Blues on Saturday, and the Sharks are called for icing here. We'll update our American Honda 3-star leaderboard. The system is this: 5 points for the 1-star, 3 for the 2, and 1 for the 3. We add them up. And the Gooler so far this season has led the way.
Well, a little separation now from the captain, Ryan Getzlaf. Not surprising based on the way he has played and the number of games, the sheer volume of games that Freddie Anderson has been a part of.
Tonight, his 29th appearance of the season. He played 28 all last year in his initial season in the National Hockey League. No one else of all the goalies that have appeared for the Ducks have played more than single digits. Silfverberg can't find a teammate, and Couture the other way. Working on Fowler, who takes him to the corner. He gets away. Logan Couture will angle it back to Brendan Dillon. Dillon walks the line. His bid is blocked by Silfverberg. Dillon now in his 13th game in his San Jose Sharks experience since coming over from the Dallas Stars in a midseason trade.
Jakob Silfverberg probably pleased that he's wearing that plastic sheath on top of his skates that everyone in the Ducks lineup is now wearing.
Good puck battle by Maroon, who wins the puck and gets it back from Smith-Pellet. Off the wing, his bid is deflected over the high glass and into the protective netting. Patrick Maroon was a +1 in Ottawa on Friday, has found himself on a number of occasions in his career playing with Ryan Getzlaf, so this is nothing new and something he certainly knows how to do. He's had a lot of success, Brian, when he's played on the big line.
Well, he's a cycler. He's a guy that is a puck protector down low. Very difficult to take the puck away from Pat Maroon down low in the offensive zone. I've said many, many times that what makes him unique is that set of hands that kind of separates Pat Maroon from other players of his size. And then those hands are what give him the ability to play with a player like that. We talked about Pat Maroon's background, one of the great roller hockey players as a kid you will ever see, I am told.
Represented the United States at the World Championships at one point. Native of St. Louis, Missouri. He's out with Smith-Pelly and Getzlaf, and they've got the Sharks hemmed in right now. Finally, James Shepard brings it back, flips it ahead. Goodrow after it. Has a man driving the net.
What a good play by Lindholm. That is just a great play by Lindholm to poke that puck away.
Burns up the far boards, keeps it in, gets it back in front of Goodrow. Misfired on the backhand. Smith-Pelly tried to go cross ice, and he lives to talk about it as that one skittered back to Lindholm. Now Getzlaf drops it. Smith-Pelly's shot. A big rebound off the right pad of Niemi.
Shot with a purpose. Niemi booted it straight forward.
Hurdle with a shot and a big rebound for Desjardins. And now the teams start to trade chances.
And the Sharks, boy, driving that center lane, contact with the goaltender. San Jose has started to do this with a lot more consistency than we saw in the early part of the regular season. The players away from the puck go right into the top of the goal crease, and if there's a little bit of contact with the goaltender, so be it.
Desjardins again carries into the Anaheim zone off the wing. Anderson tried to steer it aside, but it stuck to the netminder. And again, there's contact for the Anaheim goalie, and that raises everyone's eyebrows.
You know, Freddie Anderson has been good in this game, and he's had a lot to deal with. Watch Andrew Desjardins driving the center lane, and he doesn't make much of an effort to get out of the way of the goaltender. A little bit of contact there. The Sharks in the games against the Ducks consistently have really driven that center lane and have been on top of the Anaheim goal crease. And Anaheim defense has got to do a better job of boxing people out and preventing them from getting there.
Joe Pavelski, one of the top face-off men in the league, nearly 57% on the year, steps in to oppose Nate Thompson. Pavelski 8th in the loop coming into tonight, and now he'll face Kessler, who's just outside the top 10. Kessler at a distinct disadvantage as the second centerman to be called into the circle, and no surprise, Pavelski wins the draw. Burns rips it, and that's blocked by Thompson. And that broke Thompson's stick. He has to discard it. And now the Ducks at a little bit of a disadvantage, to say the least. Brendan Dillon, top of the right circle. Again for Burns, one-timer. Fought off by Anderson. And the rebound snuck back to him. And a good puck battle at the side of the net. Clayton Stoner was able to get enough to let his goaltender cover up.
That's the athleticism that time of Freddie Anderson results in a great stop. The one-timer, left toe save, but he drives off that right leg. We talked about Freddie Anderson in the offseason and the offseason training program that he followed so diligently to build up a little bit of extra leg strength. And it sure paid off there. A powerful push off the right leg to protect that short side.
Face off again to the left of Anderson. The Sharks already with 7 grade A scoring chances in this game, but thanks to Frederik Andersen, in part, still scoreless here with under 5 to go in the opening period. Edom got a stick on it, but it still comes out of the San Jose zone. Nice pass to him from Kessler. He's in on the backhand, and Niemi steps out to make the stop. Kept in by Fowler, and it skips away from Valesky in the slot. It pursues to the corner. Lovejoy pushes the wall, and Fowler got over to keep it in. Edom drags it off the near wall, all the way to the far point. It's Fowler, takes it off his skate, puts it behind the net for Getzlaf. Getzlaf, high slot, able to find Valesky, missed the net.
Favorite target turning into Matt Valesky.
Tommy Wingles brings it up the near side. The Chicago native sends it deep into the Anaheim zone and goes to the bench for a change. Fowler from behind the net, stretches it to Smith-Pelly. He'll chip it back into the San Jose zone, not far enough for icing as Pavelski is back to get it. He eludes the hit of Maroon and rims it around the boards. Joe Thornton, cross ice pass, an area pass ahead to Dillon, who joins the rush. Thornton sweeps it back for Hertl, knocked away, but Pavelski holds it in. Burns got it to the net. Steered aside by Anderson, who got a good read and stepped out on it. Pass off of Brent Burns comes to neutral ice.
We've almost played an entire period so far. No penalties have been called. By the way, San Jose's last game against St. Louis Blues, Sharks did not take a penalty. So they have this little run that they are on. Oh boy, I jinxed him. See that?
Well done.
It paid off.
The broadcaster's curse strikes again as Lindholm had a man draped all over him. I think we're going to get a holding penalty against, well, they called Lindholm. Excuse me. Holding the stick. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Let's see if we can pick it up. Let's see. There it is right there. Yep. We'll grab it.
That's old school there.
Left arm. Under the left arm of Hampus Lindholm. He clamps down on it. He's saying, it was all over my hands, so what did you want me to do? Well, first power play of the game belongs to the Sharks.
The third-rated power play in the league, and they have been on fire. In their last 10 games, 8 of 27. That's 30%. They're up near 25% on the season. And Anaheim is able to clear right off the draw.
The word on the street is they are shooting from everywhere.
The Ducks should know in the 2 games this season, the Sharks have victimized them for 4 power play goals out of 10 opportunities. Shepard gains the line over for Hertl off his skate, and the Ducks pounce quickly, Bottman chopping it to center. Getzlaf and Kessler, the penalty-killing forwards. Stoner and Bottman, the penalty-killing defenseman for Anaheim. Vlasic's pass on the wing. Steered in. Behind the net, Stoner can't get to it. Right at the side of the net, Hertl, and that was in his feet a little bit. He didn't get much of a shot away. Getzlaf the other way, will dump it in. Anaheim has 5 shorthanded goals on the season, and Kessler continues to pursue. He was at the end of a shift, so he'll go for a change, and back come the Sharks. A minute gone in the penalty to Lindholm. Hard around, Lovejoy sends it out. Cogliano can't get to it.
Yeah, that speed of Ben Lovejoy is a penalty-killing D-man. He gets back and retrieves pucks.
Couture brings it in on the left side, sends it wide. A bouncing puck behind the net for Pavelski. Converged upon by 2 Duck penalty killers. Fowler tries to chip it ahead, but not out. Marleau and Couture, his stick was lifted by Silverberg. Burns will hold it in. Off of Thornton behind the net. It's just chipped along. Another nice play there by Lovejoy, and that opens up the ice for Silverberg to clear.
One of the observations here about the Sharks on the power play, the goalie never gets a chance to touch the puck. Every time they dump it in, it is away from Frederik Andersen. It gives themselves a chance to recover it.
Offside go the Sharks with 13 seconds left in their man advantage. 90 seconds to go in a scoreless first. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, it's highlights of a full day in the NBA and NHL. Playoff implications on the Monday night game as Randy Moss and Donovan McNabb will tell you what it means for your team. Injury concerns for Rodgers and Rivers will either be fully ready for Week 17. Our NFL Insider will get you up to speed. And college hoops.
The Ducks defense doing a great job not allowing the Sharks to get the power play established. So yeah, they're dumping it in, but Anaheim's finding ways to battle the puck out. That's a nice recovery again by Sammy Bottman as Anaheim is able to clear the zone.
Penalty is over, out of the box. Lindholm, no shots on goal for the Sharks during that man advantage as Anderson puts it back around the board, squirts into the middle of the ice. Here's Nate Thompson. Turns on the Jets, going to get around Braun. Into the San Jose zone. Braun recovers, reaching and leading with the stick to knock it away. The net is off behind Niemi on a collision in the San Jose goal crease. Bolesky went literally hard to the net.
Jason Braun has got that long reach. He's listed at 6'2", but he always looks taller to me, John, on the ice. With that long stick that he plays with. I'm sure that assistant coach Larry Robinson, who is maybe one of the best ever at using his reach effectively to knock pucks off the stick of attacking players. I know, and Larry was my teammate for 4 years. Justin Braun is a guy that I think has really benefited from his tutelage.
Just a shade under a minute to go now in the opening period. Ducks win the draw. Bolesky gets it to the net. may not have even been on the mark, but Niemi says I can catch it, so he does. They'll do it again.
Matt Pileski, I just keep shooting. Everything's going in for Matt Pileski this year.
Second in the league in game-winning goals coming into tonight. 4 of his 15 have been of the game-deciding variety. He's the trigger man again here, as Kessler wants to draw it back to him. Pavelski wins the draw, however. And Hertl moves it up the boards. Glove down as it clears the zone by Lovejoy, and a bad bounce off of Stanchion puts it off the side of the San Jose goal. Marc-Edouard Vlasic has it there, plus 12 on the year for Vlasic. That leads all Sharks. Last year, he was plus 31. Thornton the other way, trying to use the defense as a screen, and that's kicked aside by Anderson. Oh, he makes a couple of great saves as Hertl got to the loose puck.
What a stop. A series of stops by Frederik Andersen. Hertl thought he had a wide open net, and Andersen again with those legs, man, terrific.
Hertl overskates it as he tries to bring it back into the Anaheim zone. Under 10 seconds to go in the period as Wingels gets it back. Long wrist shot steered to the corner by the stick of Andersen, who is the story in the opening period as Wingels is trucked by Kessler as the horn sounds. 15 saves in the opening period for Frederik Andersen, and none better than the flurry he makes in the final minute.
He was a star. A rebound here is corralled. Hertl thinks he's got a wide open net, and the right leg pad, Freddie Andersen. This is what I talk about, pushing into the puck. Andersen drives off the left skate. It also allows him to protect the short side bid by Thomas Hertl, who was absolutely robbed by Freddie Andersen, who is keeping the Ducks tied in this game.
Well, the Sharks get the only power play of the opening period. They outshoot the Ducks 15-7. And thanks to the goaltender, it's scoreless. So we go to another goaltender. Guy Hebert standing by with our Ken French. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by your Southern California BMW Centers, official sponsor of the SoCal BMW Crosstown Cup. And by Big Bear Mountain Resorts. Real snow, real close, real deal. The Ducks and Sharks meeting for the 3rd time this season. They'll meet again here at Honda Center on New Year's Eve, just a little over a week from now. No score after 1 period of play so far. Here, Brian, after that, this rivalry, which I think might be the best the Ducks have, will only have 1 game remaining in the second half of the regular season. When the new year dawns, Anaheim will be a couple games shy of the halfway mark of the season, and they'll be 80% done with their season series with the Sharks.
And you do not want to lose the first 3 games in regulation to a divisional opponent. And so far, it's 4 points to zip in favor of San Jose. So the Ducks, as opposed to the first 2 meetings, were able to get through the first period without falling behind. That's the positive. That's the gentleman that's largely responsible for that. So now we'll see if Anaheim can turn it up a little bit, play a little bit more time in front of Antti Niemi.
Let's go to the Anaheim bench. Julie Stewart-Binks standing by with assistant coach Brad Lauer.
Thanks so much, Johnny. Brad, Ducks fended off a Shark attack in the first period. How do you become a bit more consistent at controlling the play?
Well, I think the mistakes we made are F3. We got too low in the offensive zone, and they're a team that is very good at transition, so we got to have a better F3. But Freddie was there. He made some big stops for us.
Thanks so much, Brad. Good luck in a second.
Thank you.
Back to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Julie. Of course, Brian, he's talking about the third forward and his defensive responsibilities. Interesting, getting too low in the zone, according to the Ducks assistant coach.
In the offensive zone is what he's talking about. So he wants him a little bit higher. If he's trapped below the top of the circle and the puck gets by him, there is an outnumbered rush coming the other way. And those are all reads, by the way. Every time you shoot a puck into the opponent's zone, first player in gets a read, and however he reacts, F2, the second man into the zone, reads off of him. F3 is supposed to be more of a containment person than playing it safe. Apparently not quite safe enough in the opening period.
Oftentimes the term we've heard, third guy high. And for Brad Lauer's money, not high enough. The third guy for the Ducks. So it's something we'll watch here as the second period unwinds. No score. As the Kessler line out for Bruce Boudreau to start the middle period.
It's not just too high. It's if you dive in on a play and miss rather than retreat and back up. It doesn't matter how high you are. If the read is the incorrect read, you're still going to get trapped.
Nice play by Bolesky as he's being knocked down. He gets it out for Edom, who tried to drop it back to Lovejoy, but it wasn't in his wheelhouse. He missed the mark. Ben Lovejoy played over 8 minutes in the opening period for the Ducks. He was very engaged. Blocked a couple of shots. Now it's Getzlaf turning on the Jets, releasing on the puck and gaining the San Jose line. Dusts it off. Great save with the right pad by Niemi, and the rebound was right there in the slot. Unable to convert was Maroon, who was driving the net.
Full motion Ryan Getzlaf, but the way he moves that puck around, the number of feints that he throws at a defender to buy a little time for himself is just a fun thing to watch.
He just dusted it off at the moment of truth. Tipped just wide by Maroon on a great pass from Smith Pelly. And again, it was Getzlaf who started the play in the San Jose zone. Goudreau just angles it in, and Stoner back to get it as the Sharks change.
And that's a little bit of a mismatch with Getzlaf against the Shepherd line. James Shepherd's only been playing center for the last 2 seasons in the NHL, and so a huge edge in not only talent and size, but in experience for Ryan Getzlaf.
Mark Fistrick back to get it, and a bit of a knuckling puck as he sent it across for Lindholm, and now Anaheim has to regroup in their own zone. Hurdle leans on Fistrick behind the net. The Czech native trying to dig it free, and Thornton joins the fray. Hannon at the point holds it in. It's underneath Joe Pavelski, who flips it in front. Knocked down by Silverberg, who kicks it up. And away to center he comes. Tried to dump it in. I think it hit the linesman. He gets a second effort and gets it deep. Two and a half gone. Second period. Still scoreless. The Ducks and Sharks. Rennie Morton behind the net. Uses the dasher. Able to find Thompson. His clearing attempt kicked back by Desjardins, but Thompson gets a second effort to get it to center, and he gets dispatched right there by Big John Scott. And then Scott gave him a little chop as the puck is deep into the San Jose zone.
A great chip moments ago by Ryan Getzlaf. There's that little move with the hands that creates space for himself. Niemi with a stop and a fat rebound that Pat Maroon is close to. At the last second, he gets his hands tied up by Barclay Goudreau on the back check, and that was Maroon again with an opportunity in front of the net. Good pass across from Devontae Smith-Pelly.
Kessler with 8 points in his last 8 games in to take the draw. Beaten by Logan Couture, however. And the Sharks clear past Cam Fowler. He retreats to get it. Saucers it over. Glove down by Lovejoy. His cross-ice pass taken off the boards by Bolesky, who gets enough on it to trickle it in behind the San Jose net. Kessler got there momentarily. And now Marleau double team in the corner. Good hard work there by Emerson Edom, and now Kessler tries to give it back to him in the far circle. Goudreau wins the puck away, and it's Tommy Wingels across the line for Marleau. He goes side to side with it before pulling the trigger. Anderson made the blocker save. Burns steps up in the neutral zone, took it away from Bolesky. Wingels able to get it deep. Hurdle back to the line. One-time blast by Burns is blocked. That hit Hurdle. And he's slow to get up at the blue line.
In the back of the leg.
Yeah, he is in a little distress as he goes to the bench. Dillon got one through. Anderson made the stop there. Burns keeps it alive. He's sometimes forward. Now turned defenseman again. Hands it off, and a long wrist shot is wide. Comes off the end boards. Anderson trying to close the legs on it. Can't. Pavelski got it back to Burns. Near side, Thornton tries to go back across again, and that was denied. Dillon fakes it. Burns takes it. Save Anderson. Rebound. High over top off the stick of Goudreau. And Bolesky shovels it back. This will enable Anaheim to get a much-needed change.
Yeah, a tired group on the ice, and they're caught.
Sharks stretch it back in, and Pavelski engaged by Stoner and only throw it behind the net. Dug free. Matt Tennyson swings it around behind the net. Shepherd stops it. Feeds it in front, and that was a little too hot to handle for Carlson. Lotman lost his stick, goes back to get it as the Ducks clear the zone. Sharks try to bring it back in, but a back-checking Smith-Pelly intercepts. Stretch pass off the skate of Maroon. Can't bring it into the zone. Now he's onside as he does. Smith-Pelly trying to get it towards the net. That was denied by Hannon. Followed up by Maroon. And Shepard lifts his stick and knocks it away. Maroon takes Shepard down in the corner. Ducks recover possession. Stoner to the net. Kick save Niemi. Trying to get a tip on it was Maroon.
You know, both goaltenders this period have had some rebounds lying around the front of the net.
Turnover in the neutral zone. Back on the Ducks. Stoner. Long wrist shot. Stick save made by Niemi. Maroon keeps it alive. Botman below the goal line now. Cycles it back. A little too hot to handle. And Maroon immediately picked up by James Shepard. One-time first rounder for the Minnesota Wild. Now turns back in. And ran into Getzlaf. Fister activates. Gets hit but gives it to the captain. Getzlaf to the line. Silverberg serves it over. That was a shot pass from Fowler, and it didn't connect. Gagliano keeps it deep. Tennyson leans on his man there, but Silverberg takes it away. Great shift for Anaheim. Thrown to the net for block, and Scott shovels it ahead. Pavelski saw the hit coming from Lindholm, who took the puck away, and then Pavelski takes it right back. Drops it off the wall. McGinn's shot deflected by Fistrick, out of play. Still no score. Now in the second.
Remember, we were talking about the Ducks protecting the house, the area in front of their own goal. One-timer here by Burns, and a rebound left lying around the front of the net. And Cam Fowler is positioned inside of his check. It's an easy clear for him. Brent Burns can really wire it. That one took a bite out of Tomas Hertl. Hertl's been back on the ice, skating it around during the television timeout, and it appears that he'll be just fine.
Well, Hertl lost a majority of his season last year to a knee injury. He's a young man that the Sharks have high hopes for, and they'd like to see a full season out of him. So that's good news where San Jose is concerned. Marc-Edouard Vlasic with a shot tipped wide by Tommy Wingels. Back in front, it's Couture, and his shot is blocked. Dragged back by Bolesky, who just clears the zone. Vlasic pressured by Bolesky, and Marleau throws it to center. Wingels has it into the Anaheim zone. Tommy Wingels kept to the outside, puts it between the legs, now gets it back to the net. Anderson with the save. And a long rebound to the slot, taken by Bolesky. Gives it to Edom, who turns on the Jets. Kicks it up through the neutral zone and out of the near corner of the San Jose end. Braun leans on him. He keeps it going along the boards and gets it back from Bolesky. Edom turns away, knifes it up on the glass. It comes right into the goal crease, and the Ducks score! A strange bounce and a fortuitous one. Rickard Rakell has his first NHL goal.
You can tell he's pretty pumped. He goes right back to the bench to get his congratulations from his mates. He has really been playing well since his recall from Norfolk. Puck bounces up in the air to quick hands of Rickard Rakell. He gets away from Braun, and Braun can't tie up his stick. Kind of a strange play, but a huge goal for Anaheim as they strike first. It was Braun actually knocked the puck off the stick of his own goaltender up into the air, and Rakell bats it home.
5 points in the last 8 games for Rickard Rakell. And his first NHL goal comes in his 47th NHL game. It's 1-0 Ducks.
Johnny said he went down to Norfolk, had a couple of really good games, handled the puck down there, said to himself, this is my game. I don't have to worry about absolutely everything when I'm playing at the NHL. I know I can be a good player. Been very good since his return.
Hertl flips it towards the goal, and it's gloved there. Anderson will hang on to it. Well, as you mentioned, he's played very well. The points notwithstanding, he started to get some time on the second power play unit. He's picked up a couple of helpers there. But this just can do wonders for his psyche. The world is off his shoulders, if you will.
It was a funny training camp for Rickard Rakell in that William Karlsson came in and scored early in the regular season. It was kind of a battle between who was going to be here. Was it going to be Karlsson? Was it going to be Rakell? For a while there, it wasn't either one of them. And they were trying to move Devontae Smith-Pelly into the middle of the ice. Rakell goes down. He gets some confidence. He comes back and looks like a different player. So good for Rickard Rakell.
Having a hard time getting that grin off his face, too. As Jakob Silfverberg, his fellow countryman, congratulates him. The Ducks lead 1-0. The assist to Edeman Bolesky at 8:20. And as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that all-important first goal belongs to the Ducks tonight. Burns strides after it back in his own, excuse me, it's Matt Tennyson back in his own zone. Again, rims it back around, and all San Jose can do to just chip it to center. And Lindholm wants to press the issue as he stepped forward instead of peeling back. Tennyson gets it into the zone, and falling is McGinn, and he still gets a shot to the net. Anderson makes the save, and Desjardins collides with the Ducks netminder.
We got an Anaheim player down on the ice, and he is in trouble. It was John Scott in the vicinity.
I think it's Tim Jackman.
I did not see what happened, John. It happened away from the play on the net.
There was a collision in the neutral zone as the Sharks came up ice. And this may be a retaliation for that. Joe Huff off the Anaheim bench to attend. And Bruce Boudreau at the front of the Anaheim bench, awaiting word.
Well, John Scott's going to be suspended for this. This is a brutal shot by John Scott on Tim Jackman.
Good to see Tim get up. Let's take a look.
Keep an eye on the right side of your screen here and watch Scott swing around with the right hand. And it's if it's not a butt end involved, there's certainly an awful lot of force behind that as he's holding the stick right at the very end. And he delivers the blow that just knocks Tim Jackman right down the ice. Here it is again.
Right on the button.
That is a brutal shot by John Scott. And he won't be playing for a while after Christmas.
Well, Brian, remember the first time these teams met here at Honda Center back on the 26th of October, Scott ended up being suspended for leaving the bench in an altercation, and now Jackman, I think, is going to go to the Anaheim locker room.
Well, Tim Jackman was knocked out. I mean, he blacked out for a second there, and this is the concussion protocol. He's got to go in. He's got to go through his testing. Nobody saw the hit. That's the problem right now is that the on-ice officials.
Brian, the penalty is on Andrew Desjardins for goaltender interference.
Right. Well, he ran the goaltender as well. It's the second time that Desjardins has been involved with contact with the goaltender Frederik Andersen. And right now, Bruce Boudreau is saying, how can four officials on the ice not see what happened? John Scott is saying, I hit him with my forearm and not with a stick.
Well, Scott's 6'8", 260. When you wheeled around like that.
The elbow pad, too, extends well down onto the forehand, and it is a hard plastic shell. It's like hitting somebody with a cast.
The Ducks are 1 for 10 this season in 2 meetings against the Sharks on the power play. And this is their first chance this evening. Starts ahead for Rennie Bourque on left wing. Around the boards, Getzlaf trying to stop it with his skate. Marc-Edouard Vlasic turns it back right to Rennie Bourque. Now Maroon in the corner. The Sharks' penalty kill has been going well of late. 20 of 22 in their last 10 games. And they too are a top 10 unit in the league. Good puck battle won by the Ducks. Bachman takes the wrist shot and it flutters off the stick of Marleau, who broke his stick. And Anaheim now on the power play, working against a defensive player without a stick. Getzlaf settles it. He and Vatanen out high. Finds a seam off the post from Kessler.
That's right in Kessler's wheelhouse. He loves that shot, and he's an inch away for making it a 2-0 lead.
Marlowe's going to change while they battle for this puck down low.
A smart play by him. Really smart play.
The Sharks win the puck up the wall. Kessler seals it off as now Couture reverses it around, and that one went up the glass and out of play.
Well, the Ducks had the play set up that they were looking for. Player without a stick up high, so it's Marleau that they victimize with the cross-ice pass. They know that there's going to be a seam there for Ryan Kessler because there's no way that Patrick Marleau is going to be able to cut off of that passing lane. So it's a good try, and Kessler comes close.
42 seconds left in the penalty to Andrew Desjardins. The second power play unit comes out. Raquel, Smith-Pelly, Bolesky, Lindholm, and Fowler for the Ducks. Face off to the right of Antti Niemi. Niemi has made 10 saves to this point, and now Raquel going to be tossed as he was trying to cheat in the face-off circle. Bolesky steps in and wins it. Fowler able to get there. He was in a little bit of no man's land, whether to go after the puck. And ripped by Bolesky on a nice setup by Raquel.
Matt Bolesky's momentum was slightly retreating from the net. When he receives his pass, he's not going forward. And as a result, he doesn't get everything on that shot. Still got a pretty darn good shot. But just a little bit of momentum, forward momentum there makes a big difference.
Bolesky with 8 points plus 8 in his last dozen games. And now Raquel feeling his oats. He's chirping at the linesman because he gets tossed twice. And Pavelski, the veteran, is allowed to stay both times. All he's doing is what Pavelski's been doing all night.
Oh, exactly. And, you know, Pavelski is a smaller forward. And I think sometimes when the centermen position their legs that way, a smaller guy gets away with a little bit more.
Final seconds of the power play as Lindholm bats it down and then seals it along the wall. But the Sharks clear, and now just 5 seconds left in the penalty to Desjardins. So Anaheim's going to come up empty on their first man advantage, and now Fowler to center as Desjardins steps out of the box. Hard around, Niemi stays put, and it goes off the side of his goal. Raquel picks it up. Knocked down by Brent Burns. Burns then steps in to Smith-Pelly, who gets a piece of it. It's in the skates of Andrew Desjardins. Raquel joins the fray. Smith-Pelly comes away with it. Looking for Cogliano, he had to reach, and it's poked past him. Vatanen retreats to his own stripe after it. And he does just get it across the stripe. So as it comes back in with Andrew Desjardins, the playoff side. Well, it took nearly half a game, but we got a goal, and boy, did it bring a smile. Moments ago, we got the game's only goal, and our Julie Stewart-Binks is with the goal scorer.
Raquel, you got your first ever NHL goal, and you've been trying so many times. You've been so close so many times. What did it finally feel like when you saw it go in?
Oh, it was a great feeling. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I had so many chances before, but kind of figured I would get like an ugly goal like that with all the chances I have. So it was a great feeling.
Congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So Bruce Boudreau very pleased with that result, as you can see from the numbers. We talked about it earlier. Ducks 16-0-4 when scoring first this season. They're able to clear the zone, and now pressure in the neutral zone in the form of Jakob Silfverberg. Thompson waiting for a bouncing puck to settle, gets help from Cogliano, and the cross-corner dump is swept away by Brendan Dillon. Pavelski 2-on-2, joined by Tomas Hertl, in the glove save by Anderson. Well, fan appreciation night not that far away here at Honda Center. And once again this year, they'll give away a 2015 Honda CR-V. If you'd like to win the car, send us a 15-second video telling us why you deserve it. AnaheimDucks.com/I-want-my-CR-V. That's the Ducks website. 8:42 to go, middle period. Anaheim on top 1-0 as Wingle steps in to oppose Kessler on the draw. Anaheim comes away with it. Edom feeds it in and pressures. Vlasic chops it to the corner. That was a very smart dump in by Edom. It didn't have enough on it to go to the goal line, so as he pressured the defense, the Sharks knew they had to play that puck. Marleau and Wingles the other way. Late man was Couture, and he was picked up on the back check by Matt Pileski.
Great pickup, John. Fourth man becoming more active now for San Jose. Their defense joining the rush, or trying to join the rush. And you have got to be so alert. When you are the back checker, identify who your responsibility is early.
Maroon intercepts at center. Ducks are onside. Here's Getzlaf. Backhands it in front, and Maroon turned away by Niemi.
Great pass again by Getzlaf. And Pat Maroon's had his chances here.
Fowler plays it across in his own zone, and Getzlaf leads it up the far wing. But he overled Devontae Smith-Pelly, the play offside.
Brian Getzlaf knows when he's playing with Pat Maroon that he just needs to get the puck into an area so that Maroon can use that size and strength advantage and win a race. It's interesting watching that. Pat Maroon had that stick cocked and ready to go. Scoring chances by period. Ducks are starting to pick it up in this second stanza.
To this point this season, the second period has been the best for Anaheim, outscoring their opponents by 5 goals to this point. Now this puck was deflected, so as it goes out of play, it will not result in a penalty. Shots are 21-13 in favor of the Sharks. 7:36 to go in the second period. Getzlaf talks it over with Hampus Lindholm. He and Fistrick will change late off the Anaheim bench.
You saw the late change with Stoner over the boards. Bruce Boudreau likes Clayton Stoner on the ice to oppose big, strong forwards. So this line centered by Joe Pavelski has Thornton. It's got Hurdle. 2 big, powerful guys down low. He wants Stoner there.
Thornton's shot snapped out of the air by the glove of Frederik Andersen.
Well, we were talking about a defenseman's responsibility to box people out in front of the net, tie up sticks, give Freddie Andersen a little bit of space in which to move around that goal crease. Clayton Stoner, he doesn't have the flashy numbers, of course. He's not going to put a lot of points up, but the big body of Stoner can certainly box people out.
Face off again to the left of Frederik Andersen. And Pavelski's stick was lifted by the bigger, stronger Getzlaf, and Anaheim able to control it. Out to center, Smith-Pelly nudges it ahead. Getzlaf turned away as he got to the San Jose stripe. Joe Pavelski the other way, and he held it on the line too long. The Sharks go offside. Pavelski, one of the big Shark scorers, especially when it comes to playing against Anaheim this season. Pavelski has a goal in each of the 2 previous meetings this season. Pat Marleau has 4 assists. Couture has a couple of goals and 4 points as well. All the big names who do it night in, night out for San Jose have done it to the Ducks in 2 meetings so far.
You think of a better 7th-round pick than Joe Pavelski?
The big Pavelski, they call him. All he's done is win at every level, including high school hockey, college hockey. Stoner chops it behind the San Jose net. Cogliano tracked by Burns, got it to the goal, and a stick save by Niemi. Finally, the rebound is reeled in by Brendan Dillon. He did not clear. Nice job to hold it in at the line by Botnick. Cogliano and Silverberg work down low. Silverberg to the front of the net, poked away, held in now by Fistrick, who misses on the short side. Raquel throws it down low. Silverberg got to it before Pavelski. Now brings it high in the zone. He's on his backhand. Turns. And the cross-ice pass broken up. Pavelski just taps it out. He's at the end of his shift. Ducks try to catch him, and quickly back comes Raquel from Lindholm. Shot fought off by the blocker of Niemi.
That's a big stop by Antti Niemi. And the Sharks are trapped. They can't change their D, and Dillon and Burns don't have a lot of gas left there.
Now they'll try to finish a change, and storming back in is Mark Fistrick. Drops it for Getzlaf, who can't get to it. Desjardins turns in the corner and sneaks it ahead for time again. Again for Tennyson, and now Dillon will feather it in as the Sharks will finish changes. Again got to it first. John Scott kicks it ahead. Thompson intercepts as it comes back, and he gives it to Lindholm. Not a lot on his pass around for Getzlaf, who does a nice job to win the puck, but doesn't move it up the wall. McGinn's shot, partially blocked by Lindholm, and it bounces to the corner. Desjardins from his knees plays it along. Anderson wanted to play it. He'll let Fistrick have it.
The obvious play has been there a couple times for the Anaheim defense. Sometimes it's just better off rimming it around the boards and getting it out.
Bourque able to chop it all the way down, and now Vlasic sets up shop behind his own goal. Braun ahead for Wingels, who tips it, and Anderson sends it right back up the wall. Knocked away from Wingels. Ducks 3-on-2 if they hurry. Edom into the San Jose zone. As a trailer, tries to center instead for Bolesky, as Lovejoy had jumped into the play. Now it's chipped past him. 2-on-1. Wingels shot, missed the net. He had Marleau with him. Braun can't keep it in, and now it turns into a little bit of pond hockey as up and down we go.
John, that dump out by the San Jose Sharks appeared to hit a glove over at the bench.
Here comes Bolesky as Braun ran into Kessler at the blue line. Kessler to the corner, trying to chip it back. He was able to get it to Emerson Edom. Kessler trying to get inside on Shepard, who wins the puck away. And now Justin Braun headmans out of the San Jose zone. Wingels at the end of his shift just tips it in. Vatanen steps away from one man and now does get it ahead. Unable to make his way through the neutral zone. Raquel Vatanen sends it cross ice. And it just skips back into the San Jose end. Brent Burns with it there. Under 4 to go, second period. Carlson, stop and go, working on Silverberg. Back now for Brendan Dillon. Melker Carlson having all kinds of trouble getting the handle. Now does. And the Ducks will just clear as the centering pass was intercepted by Raquel. Dillon wanders back into his own zone. Burns right up the middle, and I don't believe that was touched, so it'll be an icing call.
Rickard Rakell has got the only goal in this hockey game, and he came close moments ago. 2-on-1 break. He's thinking, should I pass it? It was Andrew Cogliano who was going down the middle of the ice. Forces Antti Niemi to make a good stop with the block. Remember what I said about the Ducks think they can score by targeting the top corners on Antti Niemi. That time, he was equal to the task. Anaheim with a decided edge in the faceoff circle in this second period. They won 10 of 14 draws here. They lose that one.
They had the better of the faceoff circle in the opening period as well. Now Lindholm fell down, so a seam opens up for Pavelski, and a good job on the back check by Smith-Pelly to hold the line. And that disrupts the play. Sharks were in the middle of a change. Thornton's open, makes one more pass, and Lindholm got a stick on it.
Boy, he was wide open, and Joe Thornton elects to pass. And he passes up a point-blank chance.
Scott Hannon's shot blocked by Smith-Pelly, who will clear the zone. 2-on-2 are the Ducks the other way. Maroon and Getzlaf. Maroon tripped up by Tennyson, and a penalty coming up to the Sharks. And then Tennyson goes into the corner boards awkwardly. Hurdle and McGinn take exception. Maroon looking over at the officials to say, I hope you're watching this, because I'm not doing anything.
Sticking his chin out a little bit further and hoping that Ty McGinn takes a little poke at him. So good discipline by Pat Maroon.
The initial penalty, and I think the only one, will go against Tennyson and the Ducks on the power play when we come back.
The other things we talked about in our pregame show tonight was when Joe Thornton gets the puck, look for the pass. And his favorite target was Joe Pavelski. Boy, what a great defensive play that was by Lindholm, who kept the stick free. Here's the penalty against Scott Hannon. A little bit of a trip on Matt Bolesky. Hannon will sit, and the Ducks with a huge power play chance.
It's their second of the night. They're 0-1 and they win the draw. Getzlaf fires it, and a blocker save by Niemi. Maroon quickly around the boards, and again Getzlaf will have it at the point. Bourque gives it back to him. Looking for Kessler, and that one comes off the boards and skips away from him. Getzlaf now trades places with Bourque, who circles to the net. Getzlaf trying to open a passing lane as he works the half wall. Vatanen returns the puck to him, now has it middle of the ice. Thinks better of the shot. Kessler takes the shot, and Niemi able to get over.
Yeah, not a lot of zip on the pass late in the period. A little bit more snow on the ice. The puck takes a little bit longer to arrive on the stick of Kessler. And look at Antti Niemi, real active with that head, looking around the screen. Pat Maroon in front of the net.
Just 36 seconds gone and the penalty to Scott Hannon. Former Kelowna bocce ball champion of 2001 sits in the San Jose penalty box. And having a little problem dropping the puck here in the second period, the linesman. They've been throwing a lot of guys out of the circle too, and Pavelski again allowed to stay, and he wins the draw. Vatanen from behind the Anaheim goal. Still over a minute left on the power play. Thinks better of the pass, now brings it in and hands it off to Getzlaf. Wingels broke up his cross-ice pass. Vatanen holds his own. No, he doesn't. Now he's under pressure. And he does a good job just to keep Wingels from getting clean possession of the puck. Rennie Bourque rims it hard around into the zone. Kessler lets it go for Getzlaf. Little pass up the wall, and now Vatanen is the man at the line. Vatanen pursued, and Kessler forced to just hammer it down low. Bourque moves it around, and now Getzlaf with time and space. Half a minute in the power play. They umbrella the power play. Vatanen to Kessler, misses on the one-timer. Wingels and Vatanen go after it. Vatanen got a stick on it, but it came to Dillon. His clear hit Bourque. It stays in the zone. Again, Sami Vatanen able to keep it in. Across for Kessler. Maroon around for Bourque. Under a minute to go in the period. He loses the handle. Getzlaf steps up, trickles it to the slot, and Pavelski will clear. Now, you mentioned it, Brian. The ice not good late in the period. Anaheim hasn't been able to make a couple of passes on this power play.
Yeah, puck will not sit flat.
Hannon's out of the box. Gaudreau trickles one to the net, and a big rebound right there, and a couple of bids for Hertl. Gaudreau gets it to the net, and another stick save from Anderson. It bounces through the high slot. Thrown to the net by Braun, and that skips just wide. Sharks getting to all the loose pucks as Karlsson, knocked to his knees, now pursues to the line to keep it in. It was Melker Karlsson, not Hertl, who had that glorious chance. And again, Anderson with perhaps his best saves of the period inside the final minute.
Well, he's been terrific. It had been a while since the Sharks had had any kind of an opportunity against Freddie Anderson, so the focus is there. You got to believe that night off in Ottawa, John, you're seeing a little bit of the residual benefit of that in this game, because Frederik Andersen has been razor sharp. His team, by the way, really ramped it up in the second period, a huge edge in the scoring chance category in favor of the Ducks in the middle period.
Anaheim gets a pair of power plays in the second, but that is not what produced the goal. It's the first NHL career goal for Rickard Rakell. It's the difference through two. And we go downstairs to Kent French and Guy Hebert. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Anaheim Ducks is prohibited. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League. It's a one-goal game. The Ducks are used to those, and it's a one-goal lead for Anaheim as they head into the third period, and we revisit our Mercedes-Benz Star Watch, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California. When it's a low-scoring game and you're a goal scorer, you got to do other things, Brian.
I think both players have had good games. I mean, this doesn't feel like a 1-0 game. Both goaltenders have been very, very good. Scoring chances are into the teens for both teams so far in this game. What does the third period hold? This is going to be a fun one to watch. And both clubs, like I said, they got nothing to hold back for right now with a 4-day break looming.
The Sharks are only a couple of games over 500 on the road. They've done the majority of their damage at home, where they've won 8 straight. 9-7-2 away from SAP Center.
Word out of the Anaheim locker room, Tim Jackman will not return for the remainder of tonight's game. So Boudreau forced to shorten his bench a little bit. We've seen Nate Thompson playing with a variety of wings at times during that second period.
In case you're just joining us, Jackman left in the second period. So Boudreau's been working with a shortened bench for some time already. Ducks are 15-0-4 when leading after 2 this season, and they lead 1-0 as we're underway here in the third. Couture pursues the puck. Lovejoy just leaves it on the end wall. His defense partner, Cam Fowler, is there. Bolesky bumped along the far boards. He, as is Fowler, both playing in their 300th NHL games here tonight. Getzlaf protects the puck, reaches out, and sends it to the front of the San Jose net. That was broken up. Shepard clears it back. He's trying to find Pat Maroon. Anderson sends it around the boards himself. Maroon overleads Smith-Pelly on right wing. Barclay Boudreau dumps it in behind the Anaheim goal. And Fistrick forced to turn it back. Pass misses everybody, goes right up the middle of the ice, and the Ducks will be called for icing here.
Ryan Getzlaf was looking for Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm just picked his head up a little bit. Getzlaf a little wry smile, says, "That's okay, kid. Make up for that." Ryan Getzlaf again, first shift of this third period. What a head of steam he had going through the neutral zone. Very reminiscent of the way the second period started.
Ricard Raquel has the game's only goal at 8:20 of the second. And Anaheim leads as Smith-Pelly brings it back to center and gets it deep. Tries to get through Brendan Dillon. Instead, behind the net, Maroon got a skate on it, but the Sharks outlet to center. Thornton chops at it and keeps it alive. Pavelski cuts wide into the zone. Gives it back to Thornton, who spun around, and a penalty coming up to the Ducks.
Boy, that's a tough call.
A hook is the call. Smith-Pelly came over and stepped in front of Thornton and took the puck away, but it was Stoner behind him who reached back with the stick, and he'll get the call.
You know what, I didn't notice, watch the stick of Clayton Stoner. It gets almost a parallel, but I think what happened was that hit by Smith-Pelly is what spun Joe Thornton around, and it will be Stoner that sits, so the Ducks, it's a good penalty-killing defenseman in Clayton Stoner for the next 2 minutes.
Second power play chance of the night for the Sharks. The Ducks have also had 2. Face-off controlled by Anaheim and sent the length of the ice.
John, 5 power play goals, or 5 special teams goals scored by the Sharks in the first 2 games between these 2 teams. And that has obviously been a big difference maker.
A shorthanded goal as well scored by the Sharks amongst those as they work it around in the Anaheim zone. Thornton finds Burns. His shot tipped in. Pavelski with yet another on the power play. And we're tied.
Oh, what a tip. I thought this puck was airborne as it arrived in front of the Anaheim goal crease. See if Joe Pavelski knocks this out of midair. Boy, hard to tell from that angle. Maybe we'll get a better look at it right here. Yep, there it is. It's about a foot off the ice, and it's the shaft of the stick of Pavelski that just taps it up into the top corner. He is red hot. Goal number 16 for him.
3 in 3 games against the Ducks this season. That is his league-leading 9th power play goal of the season. Pavelski's a guy who does it all. He's one of the top face-off men in the league. He's in the top 10 among forwards in blocked shots. He leads the league in power play goals. He leads the Sharks in goals. The Big Pavelski, still one of my all-time favorite nicknames, has tied the game here at Honda Center. So it's an 18-minute hockey game. The goal coming at the 2-minute mark on assist from Burns and Thornton. Lovejoy hammers it in from outside the stripe, and Niemi hangs on.
Power play goal here for San Jose. Now it's up to the Ducks to respond. Boudreau overall has got to be pleased with the way this game has gone in his team's favor, but so often lose momentum with a penalty. It's just a questionable call that goes against Clayton Stoner, excuse me. The power play goal in the back of the net. All of a sudden, it completely changes the complexion of this one.
Sharks win the draw and are called for icing. Come celebrate Teemu Selanne's legendary career during Forever Teemu Weekend. It's January the 8th through the 11th. Find out about all the events and how you can join in at AnaheimDucks.com/ForeverTeemu. 17,405, a standing room only crowd, and they've seen a very good hockey game. The Ducks and Sharks tied at 1. Not yet 3 minutes into the third period. Thornton has it as Vlasic is hit by Devontae Smith-Pelly. Cross corner dump, comes off the boards and is rocketed through the middle, tipped back the other way, and Bourque able to nullify the icing as he races with Braun. Turned over, Getzlaf alone in front, and a sprawling save by Niemi.
What a stop with the right leg. Where Getzlaf is going to look at that, he had so much room.
Anderson finds Getzlaf the other way, and he storms back in. Turns, looking for someone coming late. No, nothing opens up, so he tried to throw it to the net. It went off the skate of Burns. Kessler keeps it alive. Changing direction, it's Emerson Edom behind the net. He'll do it again. Edom saucers it over to Bolesky. He shoots and hit. Dillon came right to Edom. He didn't have much of an angle. Edom has it again, weaving away from Dillon. And Bolesky hooks it back to a vacated point. It'll go all the way down. Lindholm had cut to the middle of the ice. Now he's pursued by Wingels.
Great pass.
It's on the tape for Kessler into the San Jose zone, being hooked from behind on the back check by Marleau. Lovejoy activates to keep it alive. Poked at by Couture on the back of the net. Kessler and Edom both converge, but Hannon plays it away. Good read by Fowler, who intercepts. But McGinn, coming with speed, can't sneak through up the boards on Fowler. Got a pretty good bump on it. Comes to the front of the net, Hannon out high. Hands it off. Tennyson's shot missed everything. Ducks bring it back, and McGinn on the back check took it away from Edom. Fowler leaves it behind the goal, and Lovejoy had his stick lifted by Scott. Dropping down is Silverberg. He'll use the boards to clear. Braun throws it right back. 5 minutes gone, third period. The Sharks have tied it at 1 as Lovejoy uses the middle of the ice. Clearing the zone off the stick of Thompson. Hard around and back in.
Good shift here by the Sharks' fourth line.
Oh, Carlson lost the puck, but the Ducks just throw it across the zone. Vlasic shot batted away by the glove of Anderson. Anaheim completely hemmed in, and now Silverberg clears the hard way. This is icing.
We might see a timeout here taken by Bruce Boudreau. Moments ago, Ryan Getzlaf, boy, what an opportunity for him. Bourque with a good forecheck. And then it's Smith-Pelly who forces the turnover. Getzlaf between his legs fools everybody. But then he can't elevate this puck. The only thing in the net is the right foot of the goaltender, Niemi. And he manages to come up with just a dandy.
What a play by Getzlaf. Now here's Burns from the dot. He just missed wide. It'll come around and out.
First two periods, Brent Burns had more shots than anyone else in the game. And what a great opportunity that was. Burns is so big. That right-handed shot, it's tough sometimes for goalies to get set up on the right angle. He scores so many goals high glove.
He had the game winner Saturday night in overtime against the St. Louis Blues. He leads all NHL defensemen with 10 goals on the season.
A hard rim right there from Sammy Botnin. The Ducks need to do more of that. Sharks are coming with all kinds of pressure on the forecheck. And as I mentioned, sometimes if you just rimming around the boards high, the other team is forechecking with two, you can catch them.
Botnin has it in the corner for Smith-Pelly down low. Bumped by Dillon. He rims it around. Lindholm activates, lets it come through. Getzlaf can't get to the point to keep it in. Ducks bring it right back in. Getzlaf finds Smith-Pelly off the wing. Back for Lindholm. Got it across to Maroon. Too many white sweaters in the way. And again, icing this time against the Sharks.
Pat Maroon did not get a lot on that shot that he shovels towards the front of the net, but puck movement. The Sharks tired at the end of a shift. Maroon just kind of spins, gets it underneath the stick of Hannon. And again, Niemi takes away the bottom of the net.
Face off to his right, Niemi with 18 saves thus far. Kessler wins the draw. Bolesky's shot deflected to the corner. Edom tracks it down, cycles it along, but Couture steps in front of Kessler. And that one into the San Jose bench eventually. The Sharks have tied it here early in the third. Now a 13-minute hockey game. Now let's take a look at our Hyundai game summary in case you're just joining us. Rickard Rakell picked up his first career NHL regular season goal. But Joe Pavelski had the equalizer early here in the third on the power play. Frederik Andersen has been spectacular.
He certainly has. The Sharks had the slight edge in play, I will call it. A great first period. The Ducks fought their way back in the second. It's been pretty much even overall. The difference being that power play goal by Joe Pavelski.
Ducks will resume play after the holiday break with a game in Phoenix against the Arizona Coyotes on Saturday the 27th. The Sharks take on the Los Angeles Kings that same day. Anaheim being a little fancy in their own end here. First it was Anderson going up the middle. Now Edom drags it back. And finally Lovejoy just sandwedges it out of harm's way. Sharks right back in, and Wingles has it poked off his stick by Lovejoy. Dillon intercepts at center. Sharks changing. Burns pass a little behind its intended target. Melker Karlsson did a nice job to take it off his skate. Now Silverberg tips it deep the other way. Burns under duress, able to find Dillon.
He got lucky there. He did not get much on that little chip past Cogliano.
Karlsson scores! His first NHL goal. And as good as Anderson has been, that one hurts.
It's a night for first career NHL goals. Melker Karlsson just buries his head, and Freddie Anderson plays it too casual. It's a 5-hole goal from long range. One that he's going to stop 99 times out of 100 probably.
When the beat goes on for Melker Karlsson, this is just his 6th NHL game. He now has a goal and 5 points. He's got a 3-game scoring streak. Goal and 3 assists there, and you can see everyone celebrating alongside him. 6 years in the Swedish Elite League for Karlsson. Just a recent recall from Worcester of the American League. He is making an impact. So for the first time tonight, it's the Ducks facing a deficit. And Rennie Bourque lobs it across for Sami Vatanen. Ahead, Smith-Pelly gets a touch on it. Falling is Getzlaf as he tries to get it to the front of the net. Comes back to Vatanen. He'll walk the line and let it go. He broke his stick. Still a loose rebound in the slot, and Vlasic to the rescue for San Jose.
Vatanen was trying to bide his time a little bit, allow Smith-Pelly to get set up in the goal crease. And he did all of those things. Unfortunately, not much on that shot.
Fowler outlets from out of the Anaheim zone. Kessler trying to give it right back to Bolesky, and Desjardins can't find it. Bolesky jabs at it along the near wall. Hannon, the veteran, uses the end boards. Tennyson trying to sneak it up the wall as this standing room only crowd now trying to help the Ducks out. 5 players along the far boards in the San Jose zone digging for the puck. 3 Sharks and 2 Ducks. Tennyson has it pinned to the base of the dasher on his skate. Now it's Bolesky trying to kick it along. Edom unable to drag it free, and finally it squirts to the middle of the ice, and the Sharks clear the zone. It may not look like it, but that's a lot of hard work for those 5 players along the dasher board over there.
Right.
So both teams get changes. Raquel bumping with Dillon. Silverberg jabs it free and comes away with it. Jakob Silverberg throws it to the net. May have hit the mask of Niemi. Ducks recover again. Silverberg from the line. Fat rebound for Raquel. Batted away as at the top of the crease was Niemi.
It's Silverberg and Raquel again making the plays.
Bouncing puck flutters back to the Anaheim stripe, and Silverberg recovers and makes a move into the San Jose zone. Trying to take the shot. Comes back out to Raquel. That's off a leg. Ricard Raquel goes after it. The reach of Shepard knocks it away, and it squirts off the boards all the way back. Fistrick can't get to it in time. Icing is the call.
Niemi with a couple of big stops. The Ducks with some point-blank chances. Good play by Jakob Silverberg to buy some time for a little bit. Again, with people in front of the net. Big rebound for Raquel. But it is the positioning of Antti Niemi. He is a shot blocker. And in the right spot tonight.
So no timeout utilized by Todd McClellan, and Pavelski wins the faceoff. That's huge. The Sharks ice it again, though.
Todd McClellan's team, it's been a strange season somewhat for San Jose. They find themselves 10th overall in the NHL standings heading into action tonight. Their record against the teams currently above them, so the 9 teams above them in the standings, 6-1-1 this year. They've been very good against the top teams in the league. They've had a few slip-ups against lower echelon clubs.
Ducks played them 10 games ago in San Jose, and they were out of the playoff picture. They were 11th in the West, I think 20th overall in the league at the time. They seem to have found a little bit of traction in the last 3+ weeks here, finding an identity. Dillon trying to play it along. Pavelski drops down to get to it. Joe Pavelski, the Pulver, Wisconsin native, gets it ahead. Thornton throws it in. Knocked down by Lovejoy. Getzlaf circles with it as Anaheim finishes changes. Gunned the length of the ice. Lovejoy gets inside, rips it, and out steps Niemi. He's looking around, but he's got the puck and he gets the whistle.
Great vision by Getzlaf to spot Ben Lovejoy, and another good stop.
The Ducks down a goal with 8:34 to play. Coming up immediately following this one at Honda Center. Join us for Ducks Live, brought to you by Mazda. Our final post-game show prior to the Christmas holiday 2014, and Mark Edward Vlasic, Antti Niemi look up at 8:34 as well, as the Sharks will be done until after the Christmas holiday after this one as well.
And I'm going to look to make a push here and fire everything at Niemi.
Lovejoy up the boards and around behind the net. Edom gets there. Over skates it a little bit, pokes it to the corner. Lovejoy keeps it alive. Look at how deep the D are in the offensive zone as Fowler got to it below the hash mark. Pileski steps into Braun, takes it away. Edom behind the net. Pileski joins the fray as Vlasic pins Edom to the corner boards. Pileski finds an open man at the line. Long shot punched away from Kessler by Niemi's blocker. And Wingles just curls it down. This will be an icing call again against San Jose. They have iced the puck 3 times in the last minute plus.
The Ducks get to pick their shift changes and the matchups that they're looking for.
Todd McClellan's trying to get the attention of Logan Couture.
It wasn't too long ago, John, that he was under all kinds of heat by the local media in San Jose. I don't think you hear much of that anymore, but the Sharks...
The death watch, if you will, was on.
Yeah, they won 9 of 10.
Before that, they were 3-5-2 in their previous 10. What have you done for me lately? Silverberg shot. Didn't have a lot on it, waiting for Cogliano to try to get in front. Raquel pinned to the boards. As soon as he played it, around it comes. Silverberg has it again to the net. Punched away by the blocker of Niemi. That's exactly what you were just saying, Brian. Everything's going to the San Jose goal.
Jakob Silverberg doesn't have a goal, a point in this game, but I'll tell you what, he has had a real strong game tonight.
Sharks get changes as they clear. Vatanen carries the mail as far as the blue line. Tap back by Matt Tennyson. Dumped in by Stoner, and he can't get it behind the goal.
Watching the Sharks, and they are really being careful away from the puck, not to hit anybody late. They're almost avoiding contact at times so as not to get a penalty called against.
Shepard trying to angle it off the boards for Gaudreau, and Lindholm curls it back. Shepard intercepts. Barclay Gaudreau, his first year out of North Bay in the OHL. Now pinned to the boards by 7-year veteran Mark Fistrick. Fistrick knocks Gaudreau down not once but twice, makes sure he stays down, and he comes away with the puck. Getzlaf looks up, feeds it up the wing. Smith-Pelly loses the handle at the line, and that draws Maroon offside.
I think it's offside, but the linesman was 10 feet away from the blue line, so
now Maroon
trying to get Burns off the ice, and that's what he's trying to do without taking a 2-minute minor for initiating anything. What Pat Maroon was trying to do was to drag Brent Burns off the ice with him.
6:28 to play.
Not a bad guy to take off the ice, by the way.
He doesn't seem to come off the ice much. He plays about 23 and a half minutes a game. Remember back in the day when Dan Boyle was here, he would play 27, 28 minutes a game in these similar circumstances.
Since that long-range goal by Carlson, shots on goal 8-0 in favor of the Ducks.
Pavelski, who got the first goal for the Sharks, able to muscle it into the Anaheim zone. And Edom now taps it across. The go-ahead goal from Melker Karlsson came at 7:56 of the period. Gaudreau and Dillon drawing the assist, an even strength goal. It is the difference right now. They just rocketed through the goal crease there by Valesky. Nobody home, so the Sharks careful as Hertl tries to come back into his own ice while the mates change. Lovejoy being tracked by Couture, who won't give up. Now just a short pass, finds an open Rickard Rakell. Loses the handle at center, and as Silverberg feathers it in, Rakell was offside. Buckle your seatbelts. The Ducks need a goal. 5:37 to go. Bruce Boudreau has been here before. His club has been involved in 21 of these already this season. 1-goal games, that is. Only the Islanders in Vancouver with a better winning percentage. Anaheim led 1-0 going into this third period. The coach joked earlier this season talking to the media on the road, what have all the 1-goal games done for your team? He said, I don't know what it's done for them. It's given me an ulcer.
He doesn't have a big smile on his face right now. He's got 5.5 minutes for his team. Another opportunity here against the Sharks. Remember, second time these two teams hooked up in San Jose, the Ducks came all the way back, being down 5-1. Bring it within 5-4 before empty net or seal it away for the Sharks.
Silverberg kept the puck alive at the line, but Rakell lost an edge below the goal line, so Gaudreau gets it deep. Karlsson bumped hard on the far boards. Gaudreau collects the puck. Stoner moves it along. You can hear wheel, wheel from Freddie Anderson. That means he's telling Sammy Vatanen to keep skating with it. Hard around. Pagliano, and Silverberg let it go. That may have been a San Jose player yelling at him, telling him to let it go, because there was nothing but white sweaters behind him. Gamesmanship, if you will. What'd you say, Brian? You ain't cheating, you're not trying? That's not even really cheating.
There is so much at stake right now in this hockey game and in the last 4.5 minutes. Remember, Anaheim comes in with a 7-point lead over the San Jose Sharks. Todd McFarlane's team can hang on to this lead in regulation. To whittle that down to 5 would be, I think, would give them a huge boost. The Ducks have had a wonderful start to the season, dealt with so much adversity, getting people back after the Christmas break, which is great, but right now there's the matter of these 2 points.
For Cologne in front, score! What a pass by Getzlaf! and it's Fowler, not Bourque.
Yeah, he comes down off the left point, and nobody picks him up. Everyone watching the puck. When Ryan Getzlaf gets to it, Fowler all of a sudden appears on the doorstep, and what a pass by Getzlaf, and a beautiful finish by Cam Fowler. Boy, he shows tremendous patience, goes to the backhand, and just slips it home.
And he will not get points for the celebration from his teammates.
Well, that's a beautiful thing for Cam Fowler. You know, it's that skating ability of Cam Fowler that makes him such a unique player. And he timed it perfectly. As soon as the winger up high turned his back on him, Fowler was gone to the top of the goal crease.
Getzlaf with the primary assist. Smith-Pelly will get the other. And it's a brand new game with 4 minutes to go. Kessler trying to feed Bolesky in front, tipped away. And back come the Sharks 3 abreast. Thornton shoots it in from center, and that's easy for Anderson. But it'll be a defensive zone face-off as he's forced to hold on.
John, wingers in the game in the defensive zone, their responsibility are the point men up high. Here's Wingels, but watch how he's focusing on the puck, looking down low. Cam Fowler recognizes that, slides down through the back door, right down the middle as a matter of fact, and Ryan Getzlaf spots him, and what a beautiful finish by Cam Fowler.
4th of the season for number 4, and this his 300th career NHL game. Anaheim clears. Anderson has to play it as it comes right back to him. Gaudreau fans on it as it came around the boards. Silverberg gave him a bump. Gaudreau trying to chip it around Lindholm at the line. With some support from Silverberg, who doesn't get it by Shepherd. He skips it wide of the Anaheim goal. Jabbed out of the zone by Fistrick. Sharks are changing, had to be careful, and Hannon turns to get it.
The Ducks simplifying it a little bit in the defensive zone there under pressure. Just hammer it around the boards, get it up on the glass. Don't always have to make a direct pass to your teammate, especially in the late stages of a game where the ice tends to break down no matter what building you're playing in.
I don't know what Brendan Dillon was doing on that shift, but he missed Logan Couture from 10 feet away by 5 feet, and then he just iced the puck. So the face-off back to the left of Niemi with 3:01 to play. And Getzlaf looks around as he gets set to take the draw. Beaten, however, by Couture, and the Sharks will ice again. 7 seconds off the clock. They'll do it in a different circle this time. Well, shots were 29-19 at one point. Since then, Anaheim has outshot the Sharks 9-2 in an effort to tie this game, and now they're looking for the go-ahead goal. Face-off win, and Bourque just missed. Lovejoy pushed the wall but couldn't keep it in. Fowler over. Back ahead to Bourque, who gets it deep. Burns sets up shop behind the San Jose net. 2:35 to play in a tie game. Burns angles it off the boards. Did Hertl get a touch on it? He did not, so that's icing.
Now they're pinned up, and these shifts are getting a little long here for the Sharks. Todd McLellan. Coaches all have their little idiosyncrasies. For McLellan, it's the water bottle. I don't even know if he takes any water every time he puts it to his mouth.
Former Ducks head coach Mike Babcock's thing was the ice chips. He'd always reach down, still does it in Detroit. Chew ice.
Yeah, Mike Keenan was ice chewer as well.
Kessler now 7 of 10 on faceoffs in the offensive zone. And Vatanen angles it off the end boards on a purpose shot that went wide. Pavelski tied up in the corner, but the Sharks win the puck. Hertl with an area pass ahead for Thornton, and Stoner steps in front of him. Thornton able to keep the puck alive along the boards, back to the line. Vlasic shot, friendly fire that hit Hertl in front. A high stick hit Bolesky, and Anderson has to make a big save on Thornton.
The Ducks get anxious. A couple of players, Bolesky and Edom, collide with one another up high. Puck stays alive. Right there, there's the collision. And the point-blank chance. Look how aggressive Frederik Andersen was on that play. 2 feet out in front of the blue paint. Andersen makes a huge stop.
2:02 to go. 2-2, Ducks and Sharks. Getzlaf wins the draw. Lindholm puts it on the boards around, and Nate Thompson gets a piece of it. It flutters back into San Jose ice. Vlasic wraps it ahead on the backhand, knocked down by Fistrick. Silverberg now jostling right in front of the benches. Fistrick digs it free, hinges it back. Lindholm falls down from his knees. He's able to clear it. That was a precarious moment. Niemi, realizing no icing, has to come out and do something with it. He'll freeze it.
Smart play by Antti Niemi. The goaltender's eyes are facing forward. The defenseman's coming back towards his own goal, and sometimes they don't notice that the linesman has waved off icing. So Niemi acts as the eyes, realizes that his defenseman's making a false assumption there, and swallows it up and holds it for a whistle.
A Vezina finalist 2 seasons ago, Antti Niemi, playing for the 25th time this season, a workhorse in all his time in San Jose. Puck angled into the Anaheim zone. Lovejoy feeds it out. $1:20 to go in regulation, tied at 2. And the pass too hot to handle for Hertl. Ducks try to turn the other way. Smith-Pelly into the San Jose zone. Chips it straight in the air. Maroon rolls it in front. And Smith-Pelly all tangled up with Burns. A penalty coming up to Brent Burns.
I think he may have got high stick. Devontae Smith-Pelly. Brent Burns. Players never like the call when it goes against them.
San Jose 88, 2 minutes.
Just a minute, 7 to go. Pardon me, Brian.
Yeah, Maroon just throws it towards the net. Look at the war. And then there's raked across the throat and the face of Devontae Smith-Pelly, the stick of Brent Burns. What an opportunity here for the Ducks. 1:07 left in this.
Brian, I think Bruce Boudreau is going to use his timeout here. His power play has had trouble converting of late. What an opportunity. 67 seconds left in regulation and a chance to win the game.
Well, think about the swing. I mean, you win the game in regulation and the 2 points go in your favor. Just absolutely enormous. He wants a well-rested group on the ice.
Well, he's going to want Ryan Getzlaf on the ice because he's had quite a night. Just an assist on his scorecard, but has he been moving the puck around the ice?
Well, Getzlaf, one of the great passers in the game today. Clearly one of the top players in the game today, and boy, he's made it look easy. And that feed to Cam Fowler to have the vision and the patience, and also the ability to throw off all the misinformation to the defenders.
Now a 5-game scoring streak for Getzlaf, who's out with Kessler and Bork, Vatanen and Maroon. Third power play of the night for Anaheim. They're 0 for 2, but none of that will matter if they can find the net here. Tied at 2 with 1:07 to go. And Pavelski wins the draw. Braun uses the glass over the head of Vatanen. It'll come all the way back to Andersen. From behind the net, it's Sami Vatanen. Up left wing. Fed around the boards by Bork. Maroon goes in after it, and it's swatted away. Getzlaf has it top of the circle. Open is Vatanen. Tries to make a pass, that's blocked. Wingles without a stick. 35 seconds left in regulation. Getzlaf drifts down the right wing half wall. Tries to feed it in front. It's deflected back. Trying to glove it out. Wingles. He can't get it by Vatanen. Here's Kessler. Glove save Niemi.
What a stop. What a stop by Niemi, who's got to look around the screen of Patrick Maroon to find that puck. Maroon was in a great spot. And I don't know if Niemi ever sees this, John. It's almost like he throws the hand up into an area, and it's right in the glove. Kessler looking for that top corner. What a save that was.
And what a favor he does for his team. Tommy Winkles didn't have a stick. It's basically 5 on 3.5 at that point. But by freezing the puck, fresh penalty killers, everybody gets sticks. Now 23.8 left in regulation.
Enormous face-off, and it will be Kessler against Pavelski.
The two top face-off men for the respective teams.
The linesman straightens out Pavelski.
And it's battle behind the net. Brendan Dillon has it, has time and space, and he rips it the length of the ice. Anderson will stop it. 15 seconds left in regulation. Botman says that could be enough. He turns on the Jets. Coast to coast. Botman, shot blocked by Hannon behind the net. Kessler gets it in front. Off the skate of Bolesky as he was coming down the slot. Fired out of the corner by Kessler, and a stick save by Niemi. The Sharks feel like they've accomplished something as they escape regulation in a 2-2 tie.
Well, it was an interesting regulation game played thus far. I mean, Freddie Anderson was the star of the opening period. Antti Niemi was the star of the third period tonight. And what an entertaining game tonight at Honda Center, and a huge goal for Cam Fowler.
And he is our Land Rover player of the game as a result. To this point, he's played nearly 21 minutes, but the goal, a big game-tying goal with under 5 to play.
Anaheim has scored twice in overtime sessions this year. This was Corey Perry finding Nate Thompson for his first goal in a Ducks uniform. Great time for that. And then Kyle Palmieri with a roof shot against the Winnipeg Jets. Silenced the crowd in Winnipeg. Who's going to be the hero tonight?
And keep in mind, Brian, the first 53 seconds of overtime are going to be 4 on 3. As the Ducks begin the extra session on the power play instead of 5 on 4. Obviously, we go old school. And the teams have to switch ends. Remember, that's the new wrinkle this season in overtime in the National Hockey League.
And it's funny. It always sounds funny. I've talked about this before, but you win that face-off in the 4 on 3. You get in the zone with under 10 seconds being burned off the clock. And there was an opportunity there with 53 seconds left on the penalty to Burns to fatigue the penalty killers before you make your play on the goal. But possession of this draw will swing the advantage in favor of the Ducks.
The 12th time this season that Anaheim has gone to overtime in 36 games. They're 2-2 in games decided in the 4 on 4 extra session. Everything else has gone to shootouts. The Sharks have won the only game that's been decided in the extra 5 minutes. Anaheim will begin the overtime with Botman, Kessler, Getzlaf, and Maroon.
It's going to be Botman that leads this team in power play goals so far this season.
Couture wins the draw and fires it off of Botman back into the Anaheim zone. 45 seconds left in the penalty to Burns as Botman winds it up. Up the right side, Kessler in full flight. Tries to get it over to Maroon. It's deflected away, but he recovers possession. Holds it along the wall. Botman gets it over to wide open Getzlaf. Kick save and a beauty by Niemi. It was mano a mano. Botman pushes the wall to keep it alive. Maroon down low. Back to Getzlaf. 20 seconds in the power play. The captain finds Kessler. Botman, middle of the ice. Trades sides with Getzlaf. Kessler in the middle of the ice now. Getzlaf has it hop off his stick. Keeps possession. Brings it to the middle. Fires wide.
Niemi never saw it. He did not move on the shot by Getzlaf.
Kessler knocked down. The penalty is over to Burns. Maroon digs it out of the corner. Kessler looks up. Score!
Enormous win for the Ducks, and a beautiful finish by Ryan Kessler. It's not a power play goal as Burns had just exited the penalty box. Kessler spotted him out of the corner of his eye.
What a shot.
And knew that he had to let her rip, and it's perfect. They were thinking top shelf against Antti Niemi in this game tonight. And Ryan Kessler picked a spot. Boy, did he drill it. Be a good Christmas, John. These players are going to love this win tonight. A comeback victory over the Sharks. Their first 2 points against San Jose this season. What a thrilling game.
The lead is now 8 over the Sharks as the Ducks take a Christmas break. Ryan Kessler, 58 seconds into overtime, wins it as the Ducks come from behind late in the third. They defeat the Sharks 3-2. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Ducks Live is next.